involving an individual armed in the 800 block of Caton Avenue. As officers were responding to the scene, an individual began firing a weapon at officers. One officer stopped their vehicle and began engaging with the individual, attempting to de-escalate, creating distance, and giving him verbal commands to get on the ground. The individual ignored the commands communicated to him and continued to fire at officers, and our two officers returned fire, striking this individual. Officers rendered aid to the individual, and he was transported to an area hospital where he was pronounced deceased. A weapon has been recovered on the scene. At this time, we are still working to determine who made the calls and what may have led to this incident. We have activated our critical incident recording policy, and our special investigations response team is working alongside the Maryland Attorney General's office. At this time, we will take some questions.
So we're going to start our questions over here because we're very early. We'll do one per outlet, and if there's any follow-ups, we'll see. So we're going to start with Chris with WBAL.
Morning. You mentioned that he was suicidal. How did you guys know that? Was he calling and saying that during the process?
Right. So we had a call for service, and inside it gave instructions that the individual was having some kind of behavioral crisis, so we acted upon that limited information, yes.
You said area hospital, was it St. Agnes? And have you been coordinating with, I haven't heard that any ambulances go by, which is rare in this area, but coordinating with St. Agnes?
Yes, at this time it was St. Agnes Hospital. I will say, because we utilized them, this is, I'll let the car pass. Because it is so close to the crime scene, we coordinated with them in reference to ambulatory services, so rerouting them as best as possible.
So, I'm sorry, so I catch up. So, yes, the van was
yes.
brought here.
Yes.
Here. And in addition, you've been coordinating with them to reroute their calls?
Yes, ambulatory services, so we had to reroute them, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Channel 2.
Did the call emanate from this building? Was he a resident of the elderly and disabled Primrose Place apartments here? I heard that had something to do with it.
So we're still early in the investigation. We're looking into the call for service, where it was originated from and who was the original complainant. We're still looking into that.
But to be clear, he was just on the street when you engaged him or saw him?
This was an individual that was on the street that we engaged him, yes.
And how many shots fired?
It's undetermined at this time, but there were multiple shots fired.
Tara?
We heard from a witness that officers were running and that there may have been a chase, shootout situation down Wilkins. Can you clarify where all of this happened?
Yeah, so, immediately preceding me, there was an incident where the crime scene was the main area. There were no officers really giving foot pursuit of chasing an individual in a vehicle. It all happened pretty close to each other, so at no point was it really anywhere from the main crime scene that's behind us.
So I guess I'm confused. It started over here on the 800 block of South Beacon, and then did it go down Wilkins? Because I saw a car with no back,
I will say that there was a call for service for this area. The officers responded. They did multiple responses between this and another location, and then an officer did give information that he had received gunshots towards his vehicle, and then that culminated in a police response.
Rebecca? Exactly who made that call and what triggered them to do so?
We really don't know. Like I said, we're still early in an investigation. We do know that we're looking into that right now as far as who made the call and from where and to what location, yes.
And I'm having trouble hearing just because of the highway traffic, so I apologize if you already clarified this, but what is the extent of the injuries?
So the individual himself, unfortunately, when he was taken to St. Agnes, was pronounced at the hospital.
And no officers were injured?
No officers were injured, no.
Did he fire at them?
Yes.
The Baltimore Star?
Yeah, and he fired at them first, correct? And then the officers fired back?
Correct.
And can you tell me, you said 2 officers fired back?
Correct.
Banner?
Do you have the deceased name, the name of the deceased?
No, we're not going to give that out at this time until family has been notified and our investigation continues.
The officers responding, were they a mental health crisis unit or were they trained in that kind of de-escalation response?
Yeah, I do not know. I do know that we push that. We encourage all of our officers to have CIT training. I know it is something that is given to all new recruits coming through. At this time, I'm not sure if those specific officers did have that training.
All right,
Was the
thank you,
back
guys.
windshield shot out by big crossfire from another officer down there?
I do not have that information at this
I
time.
just
Thank you,
wanted to
guys.
clarify. I think Tara was trying to ask, how did the man get from here to there? Drive, walk? That I think she was. I didn't hear.
I was just trying to figure out where it all. Obviously, call service came down there, and there was a scene down there.
Did he drive?
It's still early in our investigations. We're looking at all cameras available to us to determine the route of travel.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, folks.